Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Black and Latinx Joy, a screening of Faylita Hicks' Bar for Bar. Thank you for joining us tonight from wherever you are. We would like to begin by acknowledging that Black Mountain Institute operates from the city of Las Vegas, the ancestral and unceded territory of the Southern Paiute people. My name is Layla Mohammed, and I am one of the program coordinators at Black Mountain Institute. If you aren't already familiar with Black Mountain Institute, we aim to bring writers and the literary imagination into the heart of public life. We do this by way of our year-round events like this one, through fellowships, through student enrichment opportunities, and through innovative media. Before we get started, a few reminders. Please mark your calendar for our last event of the season. This Friday, December 3rd, join us at the Marjorie Barrick Museum for Seeing Faylita Hicks and Erica Vital-Azar in conversation. Vital-Azar will further discuss the joy, resilience, and infinite spaces of memory and possibility of Black women with artist Faylita Hicks, whose words are featured throughout the exhibition. We're also excited to say that Black Mountain Radio will be returning on January 30th. So please mark your calendars and check out blackmountainradio.org to stay up to date. For more information about these events and upcoming announcements from BMI, please visit our website. All the links are in the chat. Now I have the pleasure of introducing BMI Shearing Fellow Faylita Hicks, who will tell us more about tonight's program. Faylita Hicks is the author of HoodWitch, a finalist of the 2020 Lambda Literary Award for Bisexual Poetry, among other accolades. They are the former editor-in-chief of Borderlands, Texas Poetry Review, and the 2021 Poet in Residence for the Civil Rights Corps. Their work has been published in American Poetry Review, Longreads, Poetry Slate, Texas Observer, Yale Review, and others. They have an MFA from Sierra Nevada University and has received fellowships and residencies from Tin House, Lambda Literary, Jack Jones Literary Arts, Broadway Advocacy Coalition, The Dots Between, and the Rights of Return USA. Please join me in welcoming Faylita Hicks.
Hello, everyone. First things first, I am seeing some comments about folks not being able to hear sound. So if you can hear sound, please let us know in the chat. And if not, then we will try to work on that. All right. Hi, everyone. Thank you for your comments. I am so excited about today. So excited, in fact, that I can barely keep everything together because there are several folks who I've invited for tonight's screening of Bar for Bar After Party. Bar for Bar After Party was written during my Artivism Fellowship with Broadway Advocacy Coalition earlier this year. It premiered for the first time in May 2021. And so the first folks I want to bring onto the screen is going to be Drea, Brown, and Nia, Akila, Robison. Can you guys come on through? Say hello.
Hello.
So there you go. So Drea and Nia were amazing during my Artivism Fellowship. They were able to, one, bring together several women and non-binary folks from around the country, several Black women and non-binary folks from around the country. And they really cultivated a healing space that allowed for us to create, not out of a need for productivity, but for just genuine healing processes and looking at how we can really look at our potential futures as creators and as Black women and non-binary folks. The first question I want to ask you to, and I got to look at my little sheet here because, first question I want to ask you to is, what was your original vision for the Artivism Fellowship, and how did this inaugural cohort match that vision?
You want to ask Faylita, me or Nia?
I'm going to ask Drea first.
BAC, the pandemic was happening last year and still happening. And we got together on a call, and the executive director and the artistic director said, we have some money and we want to start a fellowship. Who should this fellowship serve? And it felt like a no-brainer that the fellowship should serve Black folks, and then more specifically, Black, cis, and trans women and non-binary folks. because we have been doing the work. We will continue to do the work, but there isn't a lot of space for us to have a platform in which we have the resources and access that we deserve. And so at BAC, we recognized that we were a little late in the game in supporting. And I think that put fire under our ass of, we have to do this now. There is a need now. There will always be a need, and how do we serve that need? And so we came together and we got a total of 168 or so applications, and we had to get down to 10 people. And I don't say this because I'm being recorded or because I'm on live, but immediately in seeing Faylita's application, your application, it was like, absolutely. One of the questions is this fellow ready for a 6-month fellowship? Absolutely. Does this fellow align with BAC's values, missions, and goals? Absolutely. Does this fellow have a specific policy-focused agenda that's based in liberation? Absolutely. So we put together a cohort of folks who were using their artistry to have an impact on the world, and not just making art for art's sake, which is fine. I want to also say that if you love to embody other people, whether that's Dominique Morisseau or Lin-Manuel Miranda, because I'm blanking on so many other names, that is totally fine. But BAC is a policy arena. And so we're focused on pieces that will activate and live on beyond our incubator phase of the fellowship. And I'll say that it was our inaugural fellowship, so we didn't know what to expect. And it was like, tying your shoes for the first time. And it really taught us a lot. It taught us a lot about what it means to show up for each other. It taught us a lot about the sanctity of space that happens when Black people gather. And it taught us that policy has different definitions depending on who you are. And that liberation is so so palpable in a room full of Black folks. We all want it. We're all trying to make art about it. And so it blew our mind and exceeded all of our expectations from my perspective. And it only taught us how to get better. Yeah.
Thank you.
Nia? Yes, I would say that something that Faylita and I bonded over was the love for writing. I think we would go back and forth about the writers' stories whom we love, and then also just how we can rip apart the norms of what a play should look like, or what words on pages should look like, as opposed to how can we use what we bring, our vernacular, to the page. And so Faylita is a star. That's just number one. And I would say getting to know Faylita's work was an absolute gift. And to have those moments where we would just be on separate Zoom call meetings, getting to pick apart their work and figure out, how does this thing sing? What is the arc of this? How can we tell the story that feels so rooted in topical truth, as well as a story that's also reflective of deep and passionate love? Mirroring those two, we had Faylita's play. And it's, of course, more than a play, but I think what I remember were the roots of, okay, well, how is this thing on the page? How is this thing being written? So that would be a reflection of how I remember the fellowship and its goal, which one of them is just being a creator and being bold enough to write it.
Thank you so much, Drea and Nia. Last quick question before I get Hans here. What was it like to win a Tony this year for Broadway Advocacy Coalition? Because I'm pretty sure this is the first time they've done this kind of Tony Award for the organization, yes?
Yeah, we got a special Tony this year. It was a surprise. And like that song that says, "Can't stop, won't stop," it truly is a symbol of all of the work that we have to do. And so a big part of our conversations upon winning the Tony was, how do we not use this as a pacifier? And how do we make sure that the industry knows that this isn't just some award that can shut us up and say like, good job, people. And now you have this really prestigious award and maybe you can stop making so much noise. It also, it actually leveraged us and put us in a position to make more noise. But, you know, it's cheesy, but to just steal from Spider-Man, with great power comes great responsibility. And so we're learning a lot about what it means to be held accountable and also what it means to decolonize spaces in which you're pedestalized. And so we are in the thick of it right now. And there's so many Black people on our team. We're a predominantly Black team. And so to win an award that has not been given before for this type of work, you could feel our ancestors' pride. And that is unmatched. And so I'm very grateful to be a part of this organization, and it feels good. It does, but we got a lot more to do. Yeah.
I mean, honestly, I have to just say that answer was a full circle. I think if I were to say anything, I think something that I'm appreciating, or what I've learned from BAC, is that when you step back in a circle, more people fit. And I think that's something that I'm also just really continually excited for. And also you see it happening actively. So I'm very proud of being able to actually like see the thing, you know? But yeah, that'd be my answer.
Excellent. Thank you so much, both Nia and Drea. I appreciate you guys more than I can express in the short time that we have. Up next, I'm going to bring Hans Nobi. Hans Nobi is the director of Room 380 and the producer. Did I use that word right? Director and producer.
Sure, we'll go with director. I like that better. The co-founder. Yes.
Co-founder. Yeah. And we've known each other since college. And we were both a part of Grammy U when we were in college. And over a decade later, we actually worked first on Bar for Bar. And because we were only able to get a couple of songs into Bar for Bar, we continued to work together. And that work turned into A New Name for My Love, which was submitted for Grammy consideration this year, after being recorded at Black Mountain Institute in this very loft that I'm in. And so Hans Nobi is the mastermind behind the music that you'll hear in Bar for Bar, as well as the music from A New Name for My Love. My question, actually, and I'm gonna bring up Tia Williams as well. Okay, Tia, I forgot the way I set up my questions. See, that's why you have notes. Tia Williams is the amazing director of the Gentrified web series. This series is based in Austin, Texas. It has been like, you've been covered by Texas Monthly. You've been covered by several different like major news outlets. The directing that Tia Williams does, not only for Gentrified, but also for several other projects and local artists. Actually, I would say probably regional artists, right? Am I exaggerating that? Okay. And regional artists has been astounding. And that's why I had to reach out to T, and I was like, I know you don't really know who I am, but I've seen your work and I have this thing that I love, and I know that I can't do it by myself. The person who I want to work with, the person who I'm looking to right now, has got to be Tia Williams. And so Tia is the director of Bar for Bar. What you're about to watch is something that Tia Williams put in the blood, sweat, and tears because it is emotionally charging. And Tia was the one who helped to make sure that we shared the right message and that we shared the best message. And so my question for Tia and for Hans is going to be, how has working with me, someone who's very focused on social justice, very focused on liberation and looking for the joy in the dark places, how has that influenced your own creative practices in the time that we've had to work together over this past year?
Sure. Who would you like to go first?
Ms. Williams.
Tia.
Okay. Well, when you asked me initially about working on this project, I was truly honored because it is in line with exactly what I want to do. I tell people all the time that my work, my film work, is my contribution to the cause. I really want to use that gift to explore our stories. And so when you asked, I was like, absolutely, hands down. So I'd say for me, what I really took from you was to go harder, push the bounds of my work, as well as explore more of the joy. My work can be a little hard hitting, you're going to get a lot of tears with me, and coming back or having that full circle moment of being like, okay, there is also joy here, as well as pushing the bounds of what I'm doing as a writer. Like the way that your mind works, when I read this, I was like, how? My brain doesn't work like this. So I say that working with you so far, that's really what I've taken from it, as well as, again, to really just go harder. You're truly inspirational.
Thank you.
Of course.
Party. It's an after party. Hans?
What I would say for me is, so the role of a producer is to help the artist tell their story. And in working with you, it's been pretty easy. It's sort of set the barometer already. A lot of people don't know, but what sort of started this journey for us I believe the first person that saw you after you were released from Hayes County. I was on my way to my apartment. I just happened to see you. But I tell people all the time, it took 12 years to work on our first album together. And it's I'm a new father, and I'm a father of a 16-month-old, and I will be a father again April 27th. And so
I didn't know that.
yeah,
Yay,
thank
congratulations.
Thank you. And so for me, it's been sort of this not polar opposites, but it's been balancing two worlds, right? In one world is the civic duty that we've continued on since Hip Hop Congress in '06. I'm showing my age. And also creating great music, but at the same time it's focusing on what can my contribution be to where my kids get 25 years old. It's a much safer environment. So if I can put in any content out there that would open up the conversation, so that way I can at least have some sort of relief about them being outside, and just making people just aware, like, hey, this is an issue that needs to be resolved, then I'm all for it. So it's sort of set the bar as far as my role is to sort of get out the way and let the artist tell the story, but create the soundscape to where they're comfortable.
Awesome. Thank you so much. So I want to make sure we have enough time to watch this film, as well as leave a couple of minutes at the end for us to answer any questions. If you have questions about the film, or if you have questions for Tia or for Hans or for Drea or for Nia, please put them in the Q&A box, which you should see at the bottom in the middle of your screen if you're on a computer. If you're on iPad, I know that mine is showing at the upper right-hand corner. So please put your questions there so that we can try to pick a few to answer at the end of this. But now I'm going to give the screen back to Black Mountain Institute. They are going to play this film. Now, Bar for Bar After Party is about a theoretical future in which police do not exist. But in order for us to see what that future looks like, we have to acknowledge where we've been. This is a difficult piece, and there are parts of it that might be a little challenging for folks. I encourage you to take the time to step away if you need to. I encourage you, when you see something, to take some deep breaths. And I know that I have to step away occasionally because this is a difficult topic that we're going to be looking at, police violence. And I want to emphasize that my goal was to look for the joy. I wanted to name this event Black and Latinx Joy because I wanted to include more Latinx stories. I wasn't able to, with the time that I had and with the budget that I had, to include all of the stories that I wanted to. However, the intention is that in the longer version of this piece, there will be a number of Latinx stories that are based out of Texas, where I have lived for many years. I really hope that you enjoy this piece, and I'm going to stop talking and hand it back over to Layla. You got it, Layla?
I found God in myself. I found For those of us without houses or homes, this city charges after sundown, a gritty coin for each eye. In this city, the streets ram themselves into coochies, sodden women with bamboo for backs and taffy for sex, both sweet and sour. Star-cloaked women who don't bend or break, who catch Hondas right in their grills, women with electric pig hooves that drag in the slow churn of the intersection, clog the sidewalks, metastasize along the corridor of Main Street.
If dreams are like mustard seeds planted in the womb of me, then while the wounds of me wound around my legs, I took the son of sons into my bed and we fed on visions. Verses visited my visage, climbed hot and sticky across my cleavage, leaving lesions and lines and time all over my vessel.
We were invested.
He kept depositing and I kept charging like soil, wet and weird. I told him, here I am.
Sometimes in the city's silence, if you close your eyes, you can hear knuckles clip concrete, chip bricks into side streets. That's when out of tune the guttural groove lyric climbs glacier out of another transient, transparent, still even in the morning. It's always, where are you going?
Where do you think you're going?
You going?
Where do you think you're going, huh? Speak up. Where are you going?
This city charges after sundown. But where I come from, we stay living in the light. We write with pens and chisels, clock out lead, and played out perception-laced pistols where I come from.
The east side of Austin. Under their breath, the city council still calls this the Negro District.
Jamaica. Nah, I'm playing. I'm from Queens.
Miami, mommy.
Fayetteville.
Louisville.
The deep pockets of the universe. I come from God herself. See how fine I am? You got to know, I bite back. I'm sorry. Wait, excuse me. What you say, Miss Taylor?
Nothing, ma'am. I was just talking to Martin.
No. Martin, you got something you want to say?
Nah, ma'am. I was just saying how beautiful you are. Can I call you mama?
Go ahead.
Look, I'm not calling you mama. We the same damn age. I'm gonna call you by your full name.
Can I help you, Sean?
Nah, I'm good.
Good.
Good. Good morning, everybody. Can we get back to what we was doing? Good. Let's start with some breath work. Inhale. And exhale.
May the light find you always.
Inhale. And exhale.
May the light find you always.
Last time. Inhale. And exhale.
May the light find you always.
May the light find you.
Sean Bell, son of a million stars.
May the light find.
Trayvon Martin, boy made of lightning.
May the light find you.
George Floyd, the father of wind.
May the light find you. Always.
Breonna Taylor, the goddess known as Nuit.
May the light find you.
Corn Gaines, the warrior.
May the light find you. Always. May the light find you. May the light find you.
Amadou Diallo, not guilty.
May the light find you. May the light find you always.
Light find you always.
This city charges after sundown, but where I come from, we stay living in the light. of ourselves, amen.
Amen.
We full of electric hallelujahs, all of us. The people of the city found blessed.
Ooh, I know that's right.
I know that's right.
Right. Look at my wife.
Boy, if you don't stop.
Y'all come look at my wife. Yo, the night before we got married, I was out with the boys.
What happens in Queens?
Y'all a mess.
Yo, the night before I married my wife, me, Trent, and Amadou, we went down to Club Kahlua for a few drinks.
Don't worry, Kay. We kept our hands to ourselves.
That's right, they did.
Can I tell my story, please?
Hey, can I get some cash from the corner store?
Take this and go on. Grown folks is talking.
Whatever, not like I don't know already.
So are you going to tell the story or not?
Don't you see me trying to? Like I said, me and the guys went down to Club Kahlua for a few drinks. And as we were leaving, we saw a couple white dudes come out right behind us. Now I was thinking to myself, shit, what's about to happen? Why are they following us? Did I do something to piss somebody off? Am I going to need to handle business?
Handle business.
So, I'm starting to think of what my next move is, right? And then one of the dudes, he goes for his back pocket.
We was all like, oh, shit.
Like, is it about to pop off or what? Bruh, dude pulls out a business card.
We was ready, though.
Turns out he had just started working with the Community Watch and wanted to introduce himself. So I tell him I'm getting married tomorrow. And he's like, word? And I'm like, yeah. Then he goes for his back pocket again.
Lord.
Pulls out a gift card and hands it to me. Doesn't tell me what it's for. Just hands it to me.
What was on it?
Well, dude says to me, I've been carrying this thing around for a few months, waiting for the right moment to use it. Now seems like a good time. It was a perk for moving into the neighborhood, but we're good. Get your wife something nice. Happy nuptials. Now I'm thinking, okay, can't be more than $100 or so. We get in the car. I give the number on the back a call. Bruh, it was a prepaid Visa worth $10,000.
What? And he just gave it to you just like that?
Just like that. I gave it to my beautiful wife right before the reception.
And we used it to put a down payment on this house. It was just what we needed to get started. Bless.
Yo, next time, I'm the one getting married. You heard? If anyone asks, I'm looking for a kind donor to throw some extra cash my way. I'm just saying.
Yo, but really, guys, y'all should check out that new Black-owned bank. Well, what's it called?
A future bank.
Future Bank. That's right. Yo, get set up with them and they'll get you right.
Bet.
I just can't believe that. That's crazy.
Yeah, it is. But look, who ready to eat?
Here's the change,
Oh, you keep it, son.
Thank
you. In this potential future, the next Sean Bell lives, the next Corinne Gaines gets married, and Trayvon Martin makes it home. Amadou Diallo hangs with the boys, and nobody judges the Black woman for her sex work. There are no cops, just community advocates. There are no murders, just kindness. Poverty is in the past, and there's nothing but possibility everywhere. We full of light. We blessed. We live at the end of this story.
Women who still want.
Who are we women with our strange desires affixed to our rolling shoulders, our torsos undulating, howling out our want?
Should someone come for it, are we not allowed to protect it?
Summon into our bodies a steel motive to gate our want?
Are we not allowed our sex? Our many small deaths are epiphanies and exaltations.
After being broken into, can we not now reclaim the radical of our want?
How should we pacify the clenched muscle buried in our groins?
Our bodies being our only true home, we will not bury our glorious want.
How can we forget pleasure or ecstasy, passive bliss glowing in our chests?
Should we now give it away? tender the crown of our want?
Should we concede our instinct to gather together our hands and our mouths?
Should we sacrifice our whole selves now after the many destructions of our want?
My own want sits in my cheek, curdles when any man passes by, openly carrying his want in his back and in his hand and in his pants and stuck in his teeth. The want he is always allowed to want.
To be a woman is to be more than this yearning.
More than this ruin.
To flourish despite.
In the fantastic light
of
our want.
Of our want.
It took so long to find me.
But where had you gone?
I don't know. I must have been out there in the weeds.
Well, where's that? I mean, if you get lost again, how will I be able to find you?
I won't get lost again, I promise.
You can't promise me that.
I promise. Look, I found God again.
Oh, we're not back on this, are we?
And God said you better whine, bitch.
Every time I try to have a serious conversation with you.
So I let smoke spin out from my throat, and now there are no more dogs chanting in my chest.
Dogs? What dogs?
Hashtag say her name, hashtag say my name. I've let them all escape in the aftermath of me. Unhinged my jaw and let the moon crawl out.
The moon never crawls. She struts.
Yes, and she was the seismic orgasm I was waiting for.
So you went back to the club?
Praise be to the God of dance hall and swivel hips.
I take that as a yes. You feel good about it?
God, I am finally healed beneath the tantric neon and thrum and bass kick of you.
Good. I want you to get that money. You just let me know if you need me for anything. I'm gonna go get some writing done.
God, you severed me from my burden of banality, and check this. I haven't stopped glowing since 4 a.m. I am electric love ribboned around the booty cheeks of brown girls with suicide drops that drag even Jesus out the bed and back in the church. God, you gave me a back like a Ford truck. I be whining through red lights and headlights, and now they gonna know I got a fat tongue and a coochie with 8 legs. Can't nobody keep me from dancing how I got to. No more. Oh God of dope beats and sweat blood, you have made me new. Cleansed me in the bump and grind of the dance floor. You have saved me from myself yet again, God. You was in your bag on this one. God, you know I'm blessed and highly flavored. God, I know I ain't your main, but you in here every other weekend. No cap. Come through with the blessings. Come through, and let me hashtag Ashe Sashe for you.
A body for your thought, please. What's the quickest way to kill a clock?
One of my earliest experiences with Austin Police Department is actually, I was leaving from work and I was coming to UT. There was a total of 3 squad cars that pull up. There's about 6 officers all together. They jump out, they have their hands on their holster. They ask me to stay right there, let me know I fit the description of someone who stole a bike as I'm getting off the metro. And they asked me for my license, they asked me where I'm from, they asked me what area do I live in, they asked me to empty all my things on the ground. And I remember in that moment, like kind of freezing, kind of trying to humanize myself and trying to tell them, hey, I'm a poet, I'm a writer, I just got off of work, I have a sister to call, I haven't had breakfast, I'm just going to the library. And I remember in that moment, all of the things that I was trying to paint myself as that would look non-threatening, that would make me just look human, that would make me look gentle, that would make me look sweet and kind. And none of it worked. After they were done, they just hopped in the squad cars, told me have a good day, and pulled off. And I remember that was just a real traumatic moment for me, because I'm like, hey, my life could have been lost behind mistaken identity, and nothing that I would have said, would have been enough in these moments to save me.
It's time to make America safe again. It's time to make America one again.
Rudy Giuliani prepares his famous Italian stop and drop recipe for the NYPD.
Under stop and frisk, New York police officers were empowered to detain and search people for often vague pretexts. The Washington Post, September 26, 2016.
Listen, kid, I learned how to cook standing elbow to elbow with the fishes 7 nights a week. Cost me damn near $1 million, but I learned how to inspect, prepare every kind of skin on every kind of fish with just a pinch of salt. Fish. You know what I mean when I say fish, right? Of course you do. So, 30 some odd years later, and there's no real recipe, of course, but there are rules. So, the first thing is you have to get the skillet here very, very hot. You know what I mean when I say hot, right? Right. So you're going to need a hard iron or a black steel. You heard me, right? A black steel or hard iron, depending on the size of the fish. I guarantee the skin won't stick if you get the pan hot enough. The pan can always be hotter because the skin is never dry. So, of course, you've got to pat down the skin, right? Do it again. Pat down the skin hard. You want to make sure this fish is ready for what's coming, right? Right, you keep the skillet hot. Whew. Whew. Hot. Hotter. Yes. Yes, you want to make it smoke. Then I press. I press again and again until it's good and flat. You've got to press hard. The proteins contract when you do this. Yes, the fillet spine curves upwards. So you've got to press it. You've got to press it hard. Don't worry about the fucking reviews. You just press hard. Press on the flesh until the fillet flattens out. It's just a matter of minutes, seconds, really. And you flip it once at the end. You don't mess with it too much because they got fucking cameras now, right? So you get the idea, right, kid?
I know we can change it because I did it by changing New York City from the crime capital of America to the safest large city in the United States. What I did for New York, Donald Trump will do for America.
Warning, this video contains offensive images, language and adult content not suitable for children.
Warning.
This video contains offensive images, language and adult content not suitable for children.
Warning.
This video contains offensive images, language, and adult content not suitable for children.
Warning.
Press play at your own risk if you agree to the terms and conditions, if you are over the age of 21.
Warning.
If you would like more details, this video contains the body of a man, just his body, not the man himself.
The man himself is being sopped up by the front seat.
There is a minor in this video.
Proceed with caution at your own risk. This video contains his daughter, also in the vehicle and the car seat behind him, several inches from the exit wound. It contains
Woman in the height of her panic. The woman, the child, the back seat contains
grief,
This video contains disturbing images of a teenage girl being tackled. She is
partially nude. This video contains consenting adults standing by watching her.
Mounted on the ground in front of her peers. The adults do nothing to stop the man hunched over her bare back.
At your own risk, you could
witness an officer attack a child the same way he is trained to attack a murderer or a rapist or an unarmed individual.
Warning.
This video contains a man, unarmed and of age, on the ground, unable to breathe, for a count of 11.
Warning. In this video, violators are tried to the full extent of the law in public and online. This video contains a murder.
You will witness
5 bullets go through the back of a man, dig into the railings in front of him.
You will witness
a large man covered in white in broad daylight with his hands in clear sight
be dropped onto the pavement by a small woman
with backup
who chooses to use her weapon instead of her taser because she is afraid for her life. Roadside assistance will arrive. arrive. For 2 minutes, he will lay face down on the ground.
The world will watch and wait.
For 2 minutes and 45 seconds for assistance.
Warning.
This video contains an officer displaying disorderly conduct.
This video contains the death of a child, identified only as a black male, possibly a juvenile delinquent.
See the immediate action of the officer.
Does not ask questions or identify himself, shoots before his vehicle is stopped.
Warning. This video contains laughter.
An officer will find it funny that a man is dead. He will say,
"The man on the ground was resisting arrest."
He will say,
"Whatever he wants."
Proceed with caution.
Warning.
This video contains obscenities and violence.
Contains a man handcuffed face down on the ground. He could be your father.
Or your son. You're not sure yet. So watch.
Contains the sounds and images of a crowd, dark in the face, hovering over the shot.
As one, the crowd will heave.
Like breath into the body.
But the man on the ground will never move again.
The officer in the video will turn to face the camera, and it will be
your brother.
He will be your father.
Be aware.
Warning.
This video contains the grisly beating of a man by more than 3 people.
People will be wearing uniforms. They will have batons.
They will be upstanding members of the community.
Not this community.
But of some community.
Viewer discretion is advised. This video contains violence, offensive language. The voices you hear, though muffled, will threaten to light you up.
Be aware.
The filming of these events could result in prosecution.
Be aware. The filming of these events do not guarantee your safety.
Warning.
This video contains violence.
Proceed with caution.
Viewer discretion is advised. Following is the last video of Bad Bitch Alive.
That took forever. Hey guys, how you guys doing? I don't know if you can tell. We look different, we look new. I just got off of work over at Club Flua. And I am trying to figure out what I want to do tonight. I still look good. Makeup's still in place. Yes, bitch. Yes. You know what? I'm tired. It's been a long day. I've been working on so much, like just left and right. Oh, fuck. Look, y'all already know. If you don't hear from me within the next 24 hours, somebody call my mama, okay? Mama Dirtmouth. Y'all call her, okay? Fuck.
I have watched it a million times.
I was across the street.
I wasn't.
Look, if I don't check it in the next 24 hours, somebody call my mama.
Pull up, I've been on my tea. Pull up, I got it all on tape.
There was a crack, a whip of wind and a howl down between my feet. I watched the cement suck it in. This is the only way I escape, she whispered.
God, lay before us bare. Give us your body.
Give us your hands.
Give us your hands. Please, for the love of God.
Give us your hands.
Let flow the blood and we will bury you beneath these laws no more.
God, oh God, don't move.
Don't move.
I'm watching you. I got you in HD. I got you. Shoot.
Don't shoot.
Shit.
Bitch, be dust again. Be all earth. Be my tread. Be stone. Be drum so I can beat you.
Gods and ghosts that I come calling for. Gods and ghosts and boys like me. Every version of my face on the TV. Every version of me on stereo. And I can't crack on screen.
Peace be on the backs of bitches black. Peace be on the mind out of chorus. Peace be on the torn and tearing. Peace be sacred yet undone.
God knows I need a vision. God knows I've been praying and praying. God knows it's me next on the 9.
I am young, God, but I bless these streets. I bless these streets in my name. The initial discoverance of dissonance in my name, the offering of Moses and Mumia. Here's my body. Here's my blood. Here, do this in my name. Run.
Protect us from these movie reels. Let me see no more.
Protect us from these cannons cursed. Let me scream no more. Protect us and go on ahead.
God, I got a pocket full of rockets with your name all on the cord, and I got a taste for fire. Got matches in my holsters, got me a kaleidoscope. I can see that this is a turning. So I'm gonna light you up. I'm gonna build on you like before, catalyze on this like before. Me and mine versus yours. We are loose on our enemies and you can't stop us. Imagine a world with no color. Young God, what you need with the mouth, what you need with the tongue, what you need with these cheeks, with these lips, these spray cans, these conjurers. Don't you know God? Don't you know my God? Strength to the blind and sight for the weak. What you need with these eyes? What you need with these?
All right, yeah, this is real good. Real good for a female.
One, hashtag hallelujah to the HoodWitches, to the shellac clapbacks and neck roll snaps, the sisters who snatch tracks and dodge ditches. Hashtag blessed be today 2 small kitchens. Blessed be they Dollar Tree gumbo. Blessed be they Cokes and hot Cheetos. May the gas smile down and rain money on some of us bitches. Hashtag I'm different. Ascended from the truth eaters. I swallowed Sarah Hardy Bartman. She buried herself in the slits of my hips, and now she lives in all the mirrors of my apartment. Now she pats me on the belly and begs for me to feed her, so I search me out them rude boys, you know those thick 2-headed oxmen. Cook me up some fine soup, roast sweet potatoes on parchment, and then I sucks me down the moxtails, girl. I cost them. 2. Dear Hotep, dear brother, dear black name or my name saved under hashtag queen, under hashtag smoked out, under hashtag next generation, under Saeed Bearer. Delete my name, delete my number, because you don't know me. Not the way that you should know me, the way you've been saying you know me. You have forgotten me, your power. You have forgotten me, your rhetoric. Hashtag boy bye. My thick ass got too much to do that ain't got shit to do with you, and you have heart of respect. Feel me? Hashtag fist out for Harambe. Hashtag I'm elevated, gifted. Hashtag my name is No 3. Hashtag hallelujah to the hood witches. To the snapbacks and double daps of queens gone pedestrian. Hashtag blessed be to their children's children. May they God smile down and watch over the black nap and snatchbacks of black women dragged into the system. Of black women survived outside the system. Of black women survived despite the system. Hashtag ashe to our sisters gone missing. Our mamas gone missing. Our grandmamas and granddaughters. Hashtag ashe to the crowned and uncrowned, to those above and below ground. Hashtag black girl magic is real. Hashtag black women matter. You know we do. Whenever I say it, I mean, hashtag me too. Reality can change you, bang you different angles, make you think that what you know, it isn't true, it's just a thing.
Ooh, I hope we're okay. I hope everyone's okay. I was crying. I did the crying thing again. We only have a few minutes left in this hour. I absolutely have to say thank you so much to Black Mountain Institute for having this space and for allowing me to share this this piece with you. I do want to leave just a little bit of room for, if there's a question, please put it in the chat or in the Q&A, and so that we can get that question answered for you. Some context while I wait for a question. And actually, maybe I should have Tia. Tia, do you want to explain why we're changing clothes at the end of the piece?
Absolutely. That is actually my favorite part of the entire thing. What Faylita wrote essentially was us trying to reimagine what the lives of the victims of police brutality would be if there were no police. And as we know, without police, that those beautiful people would still be with us. So I wanted us to have a moment for them and to reimagine what they would be, what they would look like. Part of what bothers me a bit is remembering some of them in the clothes that they passed in. For example, Trayvon Martin, we all remember him being in that hoodie. That is what you see when you hear his name. And I wanted us to have a moment to see him and others in the light. And so they're taking off those dark clothes. They're taking off the outfits that they had when their lives were frozen in time and taken. And now they're in colorful clothing and just seeing them coming into the light. And so I just kind of wanted to have something to bring us kind of full circle.
Thank you, yes. And I'm just checking here to see if we've got any questions. I don't see another question. So Hans, I'm gonna ask you, when I told you what I wanted to accomplish with the song Bad Bitch, which is playing in the back of the video, in which Bad Bitch, my character, is about to, have a police interaction. What was your first thought when I was like, here's what I need, this kind of song? And you were like, what? Like, what was your reaction?
Yeah, I was, that my mind didn't go to that sort of record when you said you needed it, when you painted the background. But I try to keep it a little, I guess, lighthearted. So at the beginning of the record, it's actually an audio playing, which just sound like two women arguing in the projects or whatever. So I want it to be as ratchet as possible. So I figure if I overcorrect it and sort of make it sort of lighthearted in that sense, then maybe it'll just it when you first told me like what you wanted to do with the record, I was like, that doesn't make sense, but I trusted your vision and it worked out perfectly.
Yeah, absolutely right. Bad Bitch is a character that is a sex worker, as well as someone who wants to be an IG model and rapper, because I was trying to get that character back to a true space, right? I know these people. I see these people every day. When I get on Instagram, when I get on TikTok, I see these women every day. I see these non-binary folks every day. And I respect them, and I know that kind of life, and I'm from that background. So being able to kind of bring it full, like there had to be a track, right? There had to be a couple of tracks.
yeah, great direction on that one. Because like I said, when you first told me, that was my exact reaction, which was, what? You want to do it? Okay. All right,
Yeah.
let's see how this works. But yeah.
Thank you. Yeah. Nia, can you tell me what it was? And this is up to you whether or not you want to share this. I know that we had a little bit of a talk about how intense some of the content was, and intense some of the actual language was. Did you have any? Yeah, what are your thoughts when it came to like the final product, or even your experience of having to replay some of that?
Yeah, I think it was really special, and special being that it was handled with care, and that we always had gone back to the core of why are we telling this story now, and why are we choosing to have certain characters in scenes with one another that, let's say in real life, didn't necessarily have that direct experience. But at the same time, the way that you chose to have certain characters in scenes with one another, I thought was very with handled with care, and was extremely generous, because it gave us a flip on joy on a new world, and it ended up heightening that awareness of this new world, or this world in which you're placing us in, because these characters, we know, because we see it in the Zoom boxes, their names, that these are characters or people who we know haven't operated in those same spaces, in that specific scene that you've placed them in. So I think because we were already aware of this world that you were setting us in, that we knew the content was going to be something so rooted in fire, but also rooted in love simultaneously, that makes us feel angry, and then also makes us feel emotional, because it's like, oh, what if though? Which then propels us into, okay, well, what if that world could exist? How do we get there? And I think that's just a beautiful way to have not only activism in your work, but also so much hope.
Yeah. Sean Bell, speaking of how the people and their characterization, Sean Bell passed the night before his wedding. So to have him exist past that night, right? To have him actually marry Crayon Gaines, and Crayon Gaines was actually shot while holding her son, right? To have Crayon Gaines raise her son, who is Trayvon Martin, to have Trayvon Martin just come back from the corner store, to have him be able to ask his uncle George Floyd for a 20, and that 20 be available because George Floyd has the 20 to begin with, right? To have Fred Hampton, right? In the extended version of this piece, Fred Hampton is actually dating Breonna Taylor. Both Breonna Taylor and Fred Hampton were murdered during the nighttime while they were sleeping with their partners, right? And having them to connect and build a relationship past that night. Having the Mama Dirtmouth character, one of my very favorite characters. We don't get the whole backstory of Mama Dirtmouth, but Mama Dirtmouth is the one who has the power to turn back time and to bring us to this other dimension in which we are seeing a future without police, right? And Amadou Diallo being able to hang out with the boys, and specifically, he was a part of the stop and frisk that we see with Rudy Giuliani. Like, everyone is connected, and I think that's the big idea behind it, is that everyone is connected. Now, Drea, Crayon Gaines is literally one of my a core story for me, primarily because of Korean Gaines's the reasoning for Korean's death. Behind it is that she was stopped for a traffic infraction, which is a misdemeanor in her home state. That traffic infraction was for a cardboard license plate that said, you cannot stop this movement, life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. And that is what eventually led to Korean's death. And so what was it like for you to embody that character right off the beginning?
Yeah, I think very similar to what Nia was just expressing is that the care in the room was unmatched. It speaks to having a really wonderful director and a really wonderful team of people who work in a trauma-informed way, first and foremost. It also speaks to, I think one of Tia's earliest directions was she was not interested in us reviewing the footage of their deaths. And if we could just quickly Google an image to see what they were wearing without traumatizing ourselves, or if we wanted to pull images for people, but it wasn't about this sort of trauma porn that I think a lot of artivism hides behind, and this cyclical, degenerative art making. And so I will say it was one of the first times in which I felt very removed from a character's trauma. And that could have been for a lot of reasons. Acting on Zoom presents its own challenges. Acting with a paper presents its own challenges. But I think it was mostly about it being a space in which there was a container of safety. And so I thought more about of her manifestations and of me being kind of her wildest dreams actualized. And that was a really grounding piece, I would imagine, for everybody embodying these characters who were brutally murdered, let's be clear, about how it could have been any of us and it wasn't none of us. And that in itself is a lot to be happy and to be grateful for. And that I wasn't asked to play someone who was reenacting that death, but someone who was experiencing joy. And that made it worthwhile. I don't even think I would have said yes to something like this if it was about triggering, if it was triggering. And I just think you took care, and even in writing with the trigger warnings. And I think that for me is my favorite part of the story is the warning scene of we could show you, but instead it's going to be the audio of us protecting you, because that's all we got. So yeah, it was more so about the manifestations of joy than the reclamation of trauma.
Yeah, I'm so happy that you said that. It was a really hard thing. Me and Tia talked a lot about what should be shown and what shouldn't be shown. And even in what was shown, I still ended up having my own trauma responses to it, right? And Tia, you did all of that heavy lifting, all that heavy emotional lifting to pull out the pieces that we needed to really flesh out this production. And so I appreciate that. I appreciate every single one of you so much. Ilbercel from Austin, my homie. Hi, Ilbercel. Thank you so much for coming. He had the question, how do you reckon with creating art and the potential pain of repetitive Black trauma? I'm going to answer that really quickly because we have reached the end of the event today. I'm going to say that there is a lot of healing that would happen during the Broadway Advocacy Coalition experience. And so that I was handled with care by the team, by Drea, and by Nia. And there was a lot of space for me to fall apart because I did, right? I did have a lot of moments where I just I didn't feel strong enough to do the things that I wanted to do, but also have the encouragement to keep moving forward. And now I am obsessed with joy, and I'm obsessed with finding joy, and I'm obsessed with dreaming of what the future can be, not just personally and not just in the community, but legislatively. Like, what does joy look like legislatively? What happens next if we want to abolish police, if we want to abolish the carceral state? What does joy look like? And that is what I want to move towards. And so thank you so much, everyone who has been here. Thank you for all the comments in the chat. I didn't have a lot of time to go through this chat, but I want to go ahead and give the mic back to Black Mountain Institute. Again, thank you so much for allowing us to have this event. Thank you to all of my panelists for being so amazing. And I can't wait to see where this goes. That's my 2 cents.
Thank you so much for our guests tonight. Tia, Hans, Drea, Nia, and Faylita, thank you so much for your important work that you guys are all doing. Thank you to all of the attendees for joining us today. We encourage you to support these artists' work by following the links in the chat and Broadway Advocacy Coalition. All of the links have been placed in the chat. And thank you so much. Thank you again to our guests again, and good night.